Hello there, Qckslvrslash, and today we have a video courtesy of, I'm just going to call him mine, in the Tier 9 Pan-Asian destroyer, the Chung Mu. And these Pan-Asian destroyers I have loved. They're definitely strong. I've heard some rumblings that they may be getting a balance change. We'll see if that comes to pass, but either way, they're still going to be good ships. And part of it comes down to their base detection, some of it comes down to that smoke or radar, and the rest is just these deep water torps can really cause havoc to everything but destroyers, and you've got good enough guns that you can defend yourself from destroyers as long as you don't let them get too close. If you do let them walk in on you, they're going to have a big advantage in the form of torpedoes, which is just something you won't be able to counter with. So you've got to keep a bit of distance, but if you keep that in mind, these things can do a lot of work. And mine here, you can see running the Pi Day camo, which is currently available in game. There's some challenges going on that let you earn a couple of them every day, which is definitely nice because they are a very good camo, and well, goes straight into the cap off the start. And you can see how he's positioned himself. He's given himself this out up here. It may be to open water, but it's away from the enemy, and that's pretty critical when you're in a destroyer. If you're going into a cap early, just be aware that, you know, someone could be setting up to radar that whole cap and know how you're going to get out of there. Don't go charging straight in at a 90 degree to the edge of the circle, so you've got to do this massive turn. Have a quick, short little turn out, and you'll be good. Now the Fletcher momentarily spots him there. He pops his smoke. Unfortunately, some shells hitting, causing a few thousand damage, and you've got to wonder about torpedoes. And since mine was already slowing down, he's kicked it into reverse to just keep that momentum and really get himself out of the way. And well, there the torpedoes go, and they're all going to pass safely. Now this one's starting off a little like you might expect. Pretty much the entirety of the enemy team seems to have headed over to A. They're not all accounted for, so reasonably there's a couple things at C, and this Fletcher is getting bold, which not a bad thing to do if he still had his torpedoes right now. Because he doesn't, it's kind of a risky move, and you can see I'm not really sure what mine's doing. He's got the Fletcher right there behind him and just brought his guns around for a half second and then ignored him. And I don't know if he figured firing would be a bad idea or what, because he does finally eventually fire. And I'm just curious if maybe something distracted him long enough or something happened real world that just pulled him away for that split second. And now he's just trying to guess where this Fletcher might be. And based on the smoke trail, I can tell you this Fletcher is left. You know, it's one of the nice things. Just watch where the puffs go. The smoke goes all the way down here. The Fletcher is all the way down here somewhere. That's one of those little ways that you can fire into the smoke. And, well, there the Fletcher is. You can see the friendly one YOLOing in close. And, well, I was going to say torpedo exchange, but the friendly Fletcher never got his off. Thankfully, mine is going to be in a good position to finish him off. 4,700 damage. He doesn't have smoke. He's used his torpedoes. You have to get the kill here. And the Chung Mu and Fletcher are very similar ships. I mean, you can look at them. They're nearly identical for what I hope are some fairly obvious reasons. And, well, enemy Fletcher's dead, so things are pretty much even, and the Allies did manage to get one of the enemy destroyers over at A. So as mine picks up this cap, it'll at least slow down the trickle that is the enemy team's cap lead. Meanwhile, you got to be thinking, where do I want to go next? Okay, so looking at C, you got a DM over there, and an Eddie, definitely going to be a destroyer. I think the better bet is to head over to A. It appears all you've got to contend with is a Qckslvrslash, you know, a Cleveland radar, and you should be golden. And with that many enemy ships all clustered up in the same area, a very good opportunity to do some big damage with the torps. And it appears that mine has agreed with me, or tends to agree with me, as he's heading in that direction. And you can see, kind of looking at this Bismarck, it appears, or at least I thought he was. Turns out, looking up at the Cleveland. And well, there goes the Cleveland. So now we're back to the Bismarck. Now, this Bismarck's put himself in a tricky spot. He's sailing kind of through a narrow gap. I don't know if the Asasio was ever spotted. If it was, that Bismarck is foolish for having gone there. And, well, with mine here as well, things could go very poorly for that Bismarck. I can only assume he locked on and led those torpedoes appropriately, but hard to say without certainty, just because in replays, for some reason, lock on with torpedoes, it never shows the lock on. It's only when you do it with guns. And well, the Bismarck looks to just be sailing exactly where he needs to eat these torps. Now, they don't have the best range, so the Bismarck could potentially get lucky there. And right now, mine just kind of playing a bit of the waiting game. Give the torpedoes a chance to hit, see if they get damage, see what transpires. There's no need to go rushing in, particularly because, well, the Allies kind of got trounced on that corner, and the enemy ships are pushing up. Meanwhile, on the other flank, because mine's team split fairly evenly, they've managed to take back C, they took out the Eddy, they're pushing on the DM. So things are going well on that front, and safe to say now, the torpedoes did not hit, which is a shame because they were close to Bismarck, but a Musashi, an Alsace, lots of things to drop fish in the water at. And well, they're, I think, pretty safely going to be zeroed in on chasing the friendly Alsace. So the torps are off, and now you just kind of wait. And this isn't necessarily the most interesting destroyer game to watch, because it's a lot of just fire the torps and wait. But you have to think to be able to get into these positions. Sometimes you get lucky and an enemy ship just ends up in front of you, but you can see mine's process, or he's where do I need to move to kind of cut off where the enemies could be going next. And it's pretty obvious they're zoned in on that Alsace, so he put himself in a position to put torps right in front. Now, personally, I would actually be getting a little bit closer. There's no radar down here. The DM's really their only radar left. Get yourself to a kind of range where you can just wreck them. And, well, that said, look at the damage he just put on that Musashi. All of a sudden, 57,000 damage on the board, just with a set of torps, and those ships didn't look to maneuver one single time. Battleships will always complain about destroyers' ability to just wreck them in one go, but you have to know that torpedoes are in play. Look at the remaining destroyers. You've got an Asasio, a Shimakaze, and a Chung Mu. Torpedoes are going to be coming your way, even if that Shimakaze is spotted up there. And well, the Asasio's doing a good job. He's gotten down south underneath that enemy team, and will probably just be dumping torps north at that Conqueror, which will push him out of the way. Meanwhile, a fire the Alsace lit has put the Musashi to sleep, and, well, they're kind of still up in the air. It's really hard to predict where this will go, and with no signs of the Alsace, you start thinking, where do I need to be next? Now, mine has RPF, and a vague idea based on the Shima where that Yugamo is, and you can see shows up pinched between them, and this Yugamo has nowhere to go. And as a result, number of ships here, he's a goner, and it's safe for mine to really just open fire. But you'll notice, he doesn't sail in a straight line. Something so many battleships fail to consider, you know, even in something as maneuverable as a destroyer. Mine gets himself turned, and well, good thing, because there's some friendly Shima torps. Though it looks like the Yugamo's gonna dodge them. That he does, so it comes down to guns, and you like your odds in a DD with how quick you reload, but a minnow is pretty much just as fast, drops an entire volley there, and finishes off a target. That said, mine did get some good damage on the board there, so it's not to be underestimated, and you'll get good experience for doing that percentage chunk to a hit. More importantly, from a team aspect, it got rid of a huge backfield threat. You know, this Asashio over here is basically just allowed to sail around as he please, because there's nothing really actively trying to counter him, it seems. It's hard to say where the Harakaze is, but it looks like he's not in a position to be fighting back or trying to run the Asashio off the map, which really he should be. You know, you figure Japanese DD, okay, I'm not the best gunboat, but against a one-trick pony, you definitely are. And well, things are still just ticking along. There's, you know, 6 ships left on the enemy team. And, well, the Allies, I would say, have a narrow lead, simply because they're a couple points ahead and have a 1 kill advantage. But the Conqueror and Alsace are doing really the best thing they can, which is, as a group, they've converged together and are pushing on 1 target. And really, the whole enemy team is. You can see how many of them are spotted all in one place. And, well, that Minotaur looks like he's going to do the best thing he can, which is hope ram the enemy Minotaur. And you're not going to have a lot here because this Alsace is going to go down, but mine does get the smoke up. He's going to use the guns, put them to use as long as he can, because that friendly ship is going to go down. But here comes the hurt. Torps on both targets, wiping out huge chunks of their health, and I think getting a sticky flood. He didn't get a sticky flood 100%. When he lights a fire here, it will count. And you'll notice mine get your own, rocking forward and back in the smoke, never really staying in one position. That's just a good general strategy. There's no destroyers known to be really close right here, so you're not worried about, you know, potential torpedoes and wanting to have momentum should they show up. But it makes it hard should these battleships decide to hit you blind firing into the smoke, because you're continuously moving, and while you can learn to lead that, it's not a sure thing. And, well, here comes the Alsace. Personally, would have saved Iraq. You can see the friendly Shima torps coming in. I would have put 1 set in the water to try to steer the Alsace towards me there, and then another set just sitting on deck for when that Alsace really puts them in a, you know, inescapable position. That said, the pair of them did get torps in, 1 apiece, and the flood finishes the enemy BB off. And we're up to 2 kills, 150,000 damage, and things have really turned. The enemy team, because they balled up as a group, took out pretty much everything. It is now just the destroyers remaining, and you can see those Asashio torpedoes coming in, harassing that Conqueror. He is flooding, and it looks, and it is going to be the case, that one of mine's torpedoes aimed for the Alsace goes the distance and connects with that enemy Conqueror, finishing him off, picking up a 3rd kill, and goes a long way to evening the odds as far as number of ships. And when you look about, you know, the Shima is basically dead. He cannot afford to do anything. The Asashio, good health, not a great gunboat. and you've got a DM remaining on the enemy team. So you have a big radar threat and just a high damage output that Des Moines can bring to bear. This could get messy. And of course, the Asashio can't hurt the DM or the Harakaze, but that's neither here nor there. The torpedoes can only hurt this Bismarck. And, well, the Bismarck's putting himself in a decent position. He's charging into that gap. I suspect by now the Shimakaze is spotted, and the Shima really just, he's doing a YOLO. I would have liked to have seen him tried sailing away, you know, try to keep yourself alive, but he rushes in, puts every torpedo he can in the water, and, well, there's the DM. So, torps are off. Now you gotta get your guns to work. And this is a mistake I see a little too often. You go, oh, you know, I'm radared right now, but that's gonna run out. Focus on running. No, get your guns working, particularly if you have the smoke available. You're not giving yourself an advantage by holding fire when you're radared. You just kind of have to count in your head how much time you need, and you can get your guns to work. Now in this case, torps, they go true, picks up a 4th kill, Confederate high caliber, and really helps the case. The Shima goes down, the Bismarck's about to reappear, and you can see almost no health. So I jam that speed boost if this were me, slam the brakes on, and just get my guns going. Go for a fire. The Asashio, he's out there, he should be able to spot, and even if he doesn't, a couple volleys worth of shells could be all it takes to get rid of this Bismarck. And if he can manage it, we'll give him the Kraken. Meanwhile, the Harakaze is showing up to try to help. And if you get rid of the Bismarck, 100%, you should win the fight versus the Harakaze. And they get the mark, which means it's now 2 DDs on 1. And while mine is a little beat up, the Asashio is on full health. So this is one of those situations where I think you just have to double team. You could think about going for the caps and just trying to long game this, and you do have a lead, you're getting in the cap, so you know that's going to be a safe bet. But at the same time, with such a perilous lead and not a ton of time left, you can't guarantee if you're going to get this cap, because any second torps could just show up. And with mine suddenly getting spotted there, you know the range to that Harakaze. There he is. Now it's just a gunfight. And this is just bring as much as you can to bear for as long. Keep yourself maneuvering, make it hard to hit, and you can see the Harakaze is missing shots. And with the Asashio over his shoulder, mine definitely has a chance here. You can see the hit points melting off that enemy DD at a far greater rate. And, well, just get yourself bow in, avoid any torpedoes. Picks up a 6th kill.
We've sunk an enemy.
Now with the game almost half over and still only a single kill and about 60k damage, you don't really see the game ending up with 6 kills and nearly 200k. But that is the strength of a destroyer late game, and that's why DDs need to be a little careful early game not to throw themselves away trying to rush into a cap. Yes, contest the cap, but do it in smart ways where you can always get away if you're radared or pushed hard. And, well, that's what mine did, and as a result, wound up with a great game, picking up Kraken Confederate high caliber, 6 kills, and topping the team. Tons of XP in this one. No real question to be on the top of the team. You can't do that much damage and get that many kills and not have this kind of XP. Just shy of 3k. Would have been nice to see the 3k cracked, but you can't pick when you get 6 kills. And when you look at the damage, you can really see where a bunch of it came from. It really was that Conquer and Alsace trying to push across the middle of the map when they did. It was a little odd early game against that Fletcher, why he didn't engage them. It might have saved the friendly one. I don't know why the friendly one charged like that, but ultimately it worked out. And it was a fun game to watch. Took home 541,000 credits, almost 7,000 XP. So thank you, Mind Get Your Own, for sending this one in. I enjoyed watching it. I hope everyone else did. If you did, please consider giving it a thumbs up or subscribing to the channel. And as always, I'm Qckslvrslash. I'll have another one for you all later.